Namaskar, welcome to This Week with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh. Doctor, welcome.
Namaskar.
So, as we speak, there are many issues which are concerning us, but I'll begin with what we feel has gone and yet is not gone. So, there are more 595 cases of COVID from India reported. How do you see? Will it escalate? Is it just...
Well, I think, of course, it's a kind of matter of concern, but I would not worry that much because, I mean, in India also, there's about 70% got vaccinated, 30% has had an infection, and in India that second wave was so strong that a lot of people had infection. And so there is a herd immunity kind of in India. So I think this new variant or new virus will be kind of more contagious, but it's not very severe. It means it does not make a person who gets infected very sick or needs hospitalization or fatality,
Absolutely. So now looks like as world citizen we are facing back-to-back challenges. After COVID, if we say it is gone or almost gone, this Russia-Ukraine war, which initially appeared to be a short-lived phenomena, has stretched nearly up to 40 days. And the recent killings in Bucha has caused a lot of alarms. Your take on the role of United Nations in this scenario?
Well, I mean, United Nations should establish the international tribunal just to, first they should investigate whether what happened in Bucha or any other cities in the Ukraine, how much crime committed towards innocent civilians. And that will determine whether to try the Russian President Putin as a war criminal, because that's a long, slow process. But I think one should do it because the way for all the press news and photographs and videos we are watching on TV from the Bucha, and I'm sure there are thousands of towns like that, where a lot of people must have got killed or was killed unnecessarily, without any provocation. So I think United Nations should investigate this thing, Western world should investigate this thing, and make sure that on the face it looks like a war crime. So that's how even President Biden says that, and therefore I think President Putin should be tried, and just like what we had after Second World War.
Absolutely. And now, just in the spirit of trying to understand how things are functioning in the world with respect to United Nations, with respect to when America is calling for more economic sanctions, and there are criticism and strong words against Russia, but no real tangible action, so to say, for various reasons. What else the world is waiting for appears to be a question, not just in the mind of Ukrainian president, but many people. If there is collective will and power to prevent it from further deteriorating as we have seen it, what do you think, what prevents them?
Well, I think it's kind of a catch-22 situation here, because, I mean, we all know that if NATO sends puts the no-fly zone, and right away everything stops. And because Ukraine has a good army and a good strong army, goodwill, and I mean people ready to fight and so forth. But again, it may create a third world war, because once NATO gets involved, and if NATO hits a Russian plane, then Russia has all right to hit the NATO or NATO countries, including Poland or Germany or those countries, and then it flares up. And I don't think that's a good idea, because there is no need to do that. So I think right now what USA is doing is providing Ukraine plenty of anti-air missiles, a lot of other equipments, lot of defensive equipments, including they are thinking about even providing the MiG-22 from the Poland to the Ukrainian army, so they can themselves can fight. And I think they are fighting very well right now, relatively speaking. And Russians are not really what they thought that it will be over in a few days is not happening. And yesterday President Biden says that this may go on for a few months.
Actually, initially also when he said, many people were thinking, including me, that he's saying after a month we will review the situation. And I thought by after a month we will not have this war, but the war continues. So Biden was right on that. But now look at the scenario where everyone seems to be convinced that Russia is the aggressor and what they are doing is not right, and what images we have seen from Bucha killings. So President of Ukraine in United Nations says that not just you declare Russia as war criminal, but he should be thrown out of the membership of Security Council. How do you see that?
That can be done. I mean, and if you throw him out of the not only member of Security Council, but disqualified for being a member of General Assembly, also kick him out from the G20 membership group, and that will in long run it will really punish the Russia a lot. And I think they should do it. They should have will to do that, and they must do that. And otherwise, what happens is even something comes in Security Council, Russia has a veto power, so everything gets null and void, and so it doesn't go any further, right?
Absolutely.
So I think USA and Western countries, luckily right now they are together under banner of NATO, and they should stay together. And hopefully this push Russian army out of the Ukraine.
Now, staying with the United Nations and India's suggestion or advice that there should be independent probe and then Russia should be declared war criminal. Looking at the possibility of the composition of the members in that independent probe, do you foresee that happening, and how is it possible to have any independent probe is also another question. Russia may have a different take if we are looking at the parties which are involved also to become a part of that investigation.
No, I think United Nations can appoint a investigative committee, which is supposed to be quote unquote independent committee. And I mean, here in this war crime, in the war situation, the picture speaks 1,000 words. You don't have to convince anybody that why it happened, and everybody knows. Everybody has seen from day one why Russia went in without any provocation, and so we know whose fault is that. I mean, Ukraine never did any provocation or never did anything which irritated Russia to do this thing. So I think, relatively speaking, probably it will be easy. But only thing is we have to see whether Western countries stays together, and I hope they will, because now the leadership of USA will make sure that they will cut Russia into the short pieces, kind of. And that way, even China will not dare to take over Taiwan.
That's a very tall order, Dr. Saab. And now going to India and the visit of Foreign Minister of Russia to India, India buying oil at discounted price, America and European countries criticizing that. Your take on the response of Indian side to the criticism?
Well, I mean, India is saying that they want to be neutral because they have a lot of stake in it, kind of a lot of self-interest to keep the Russia relation intact. But again, sometimes this kind of neutrality can help, or it can create wrong optics, and that can hurt in long run to India when it comes to Western worlds. So we don't know. So time will tell, but India is balancing the whole thing pretty good right now, and hopefully continue to do good. And I think being a neutral, I think India can offer to make everything peaceful and ceasefire and end the war.
Absolutely. Everybody, I think, now desperately wants that the war should end. And India's response also included mentioning how Europe is continuing to buy oil from Russia and they are criticizing India. And it's interesting to see a man of Indian origin representing America criticizing India's stand. That I think is a interesting dynamics that
Yes,
is playing out.
it is kind of there is a kind of some hypocrisy. So I mean, on one hand, Western countries are still not completely stopped buying the crude oil or gas from the Russia, and then they are complaining that why India is doing it. So it's kind of you are right that they don't have much to complain, or they have complained, then they have to practice what they preach.
And now let's shift our focus to neighboring countries of India, and we briefly touched the situation in Pakistan. Prime Minister Imran Khan faced no objection situation in the parliament, and that has been rejected. And so there are a lot of uncertain clouds on the overall in Pakistani government, as well as the relationship between the armed forces and the government is also passing through a situation which is a little bit unpredictable at the moment.
Yes, I mean, what's happening in the Pakistan, obviously it's their internal problem, but still because Pakistan is our neighbor, it's not entirely 100% internal problem, because whatever, if neighborhood is, there is unrest in the neighborhood, it is not good sign for us, for India. So India has to be very alert and very vigilant about what's happening in the Pakistan. And I think what Prime Minister Imran Khan did it, it's kind of very unconstitutional, because once you have no confident vote in the parliament, what has to go through, you cannot abruptly nullify that. And let's see what Supreme Court of the Pakistan verdict comes. But I think it was wrong thing to do. But again, they can say that in the democracy, ultimate judge is people. So we are calling for election, and that may kind of get them away from the answering serious question what they violated the constitution.
Absolutely. And Dr. Sahab, as we have a few minutes to go, one, I would like to extend congratulations to you and most of the Indian Americans or even Indians. And it's a matter of pride for us to learn that one Indian has reached to the 100 billion plus wealth orbit with Elon Musk and Warren Buffett, etc. And that is your,
Gautam
if I say Gautam Adani. What is interesting is within 2 years, his wealth has risen $90 billion. It is incomprehensible. But we will come to that some other day. Today, I also want your congratulations for our own Falu Shah, who has won Grammy in the children's section, and there's another gentleman, Ricky Cage, also. So, how do you feel when Indian Americans?
Well, I think all Indian Americans should be very proud of Falguni Shah, right? Falguni Shah, who won the Grammy Award. To win the Grammy Award is very, very, very tall challenge. I mean, it's like a winning Oscar in the film industry. So I think we all are proud of her, and she's a second generation. She's only in her 40s, and she's a great singer as well as a song composer. and we all proud of her. Even our Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi has congratulated her personally. And I think there is another Indian also won Grammy Award, which is called Ricky
Kids.
Cage. And so I think we really very proud of our heroes, our so-called diamonds in the Indian American community. And really, there is no way I can express my joy, but we say that God bless Indian American community.
Absolutely. And also, as they say, behind every successful man, there is a man, and here is a doctor also. Dr. Gautam has been closely supportive as well as a musician himself, Falu's husband. So congratulations to the whole family. And she started this for her own child initially. That idea came. But your parting words from today's show.
Well, dear friends, thank you for joining us today. As you all know, that war is still going on in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia. We pray that that war should end soon, sooner than later, to stop the unnecessary killing and suffering of the mankind or human being. Again, the good news is that one of our Indian American Falguni Shah won the Grammy Award yesterday, and there is another Indian recent singer called Ricky Cage won the Grammy Award. So to have two Indian American winning the Grammy Award, it's a great success, and we all Indian Americans are very proud of them. We congratulate them, and we wish that God bless them. And again, I would like to wish each and every American, God bless America, God bless India, and God bless Indian American. We'll see you next week. Till then, goodbye and good night.